Hi guys, welcome to today's tutorial. Today we're going to be making this beautiful kimono jacket for my client, and we're going to be needing 2 yards of fabric for the main body and half a yard to make the lapel and to attach to the sleeve. So to start off, we're going to fold our fabric into 4 in order to get the front and the back pieces. So when we're done folding, you find out that you have 2 pieces of fabric on the top that are separated and a folded piece below that's going to serve for the back piece, while the ones on the top that are separated will serve for the front pieces. Now I'm placing half of my shoulder measurement, which is 8 inches. Then I'm going to come down from that 8-inch mark by about half an inch and mark my armhole measurement, which is about 9 inches. I'm going to continue placing vertical measurements. I'll come down from the armhole measurement by about 2 inches, which is where I'll mark my chest line, and it is on this chest line that you place your bust measurement. Then from the shoulder measurement, I'll come down by about 17 inches, which will serve as the waistline, and this is where I'll mark my waist measurement. Then from the waist, I'm going to come down by about 9 inches to mark my hip measurement on my hip line. So the hip line is about 9 inches from the waist, 8 to 9 inches depending on whether the person is tall or not. This person is tall, so the hip line measurement is going to be around 9 inches from the waistline, and that is where I'm going to place my hip measurement. Next, I'm going to place the gown length, which is 50 inches plus 2 inches to serve as the hemming allowance and allowance to join at the shoulder. On the chest line, I'm going to go ahead to mark 1/4 of the chest measurement plus 1.5 inches to serve as sewing allowance and 1.5 inches for ease. Waist line, I'm going to do the same thing. I'll mark 1/4 of my waist measurement plus 1.5 inches for ease and 1.5 inches to serve as the sewing allowance. You repeat the same thing for the hip measurement, placing 1/4 of the hip measurement plus the measurement for ease and for the sewing allowance. I'm going to go ahead to mark the back neck measurement, which is 1.5 inches deep by 3 inches wide. Then after marking my back neck measurement, I'm going to curve that out, and I'll also go ahead to curve out my armhole, after which you join all the markings you made for the bust, the waist and the hip. Then you will draw down the hip measurement to the bottom of the fabric, because this is meant to be free around the bottom. So that means the same measurement you use at the hip is what you're going to continue down to the edge of the fabric. Then you're going to cut out all these measurements and remove your front piece from your back piece. Next, I'm going to mark my front neckline from my front piece, and to do that I'm going to mark a neck depth of about 10 inches, and then from the 10-inch mark I'm going to come in from the center of the fabric by about 1 inch. Next, I'm going to slant from the front neckline right down to that 1-inch mark that I made, and I will draft down from the 1-inch mark all the way to the edge. So after marking all the way down to the edge of the fabric, I am going to cut it out and make sure that the slant is really nice and neat. And that is how you cut out the front neckline for the front piece. So next we're going to be cutting out the sleeve, and please note that the sleeve of this kimono jacket has a different color of fabric attached. So we're going to be subtracting the length of that fabric from the total length of the sleeve. So the sleeve length for my client is about 25 inches. So that attachment is 3 inches long. We're going to subtract 3 inches from the 25 inches, making a total of 22 inches, and add 1 inch, which will serve as allowance to join this sleeve at the shoulder and allowance to also join the attachment at the bottom of the sleeve. And then at the middle of the sleeve, I'm just going to make a little notch to indicate that that is the middle, which will make it easier when we join it to the shoulder. So now I'm just going to demonstrate how you join the front and the back together. So you place the front pieces on the back together, and as you can see, we have our V created, and you're going to be joining it with 1/2 inch at the shoulder, and you're going to be using the allowance we added of 1.5 inches to join it at the sides. Please ignore my ashy elbows. I happen to lean on the wall and the paint stained my elbows. So now I'm cutting out the lapels for the kimono jacket, and the lapel is 5 inches wide by 60 inches. I'll be cutting out 2 pieces for that. Then I will join the 2 pieces I cut out at the middle. So after joining the neckline and the sides of the kimono jacket, I'm going to be attaching the lapel all around the neckline. To attach the lapel, I'm going to identify the middle of the neckline at the back, and I'm going to make a notch there, and it is to this midpoint that I'm going to attach the joining of the lapel that I made earlier. So as you can see, I've notched the middle of the midpoint of the back neckline, and then I'm going to get my lapel pieces and I'm going to fold it in 2 at the middle, and that midpoint is what I'm going to attach to the midpoint of the back neckline. Then I'm going to pin that all the way to the bottom, making sure all edges are aligned. Then I'll head over to my machine and sew that down. So for the sleeve, I'm going to be cutting out 2 pieces of fabric that are about 7 inches long by 20 inches wide, and this is what is going to serve as the attachment to the sleeve. So to attach this to the sleeve, I am going to be opening up the sleeve, and then I'll fold the attachment in half, as you can see. Then I'm going to be placing right sides facing each other and joining that together, which you can see that I have done. After that, I'm going to join the sleeve together with a 1-inch sewing allowance. So after joining the sleeve, you turn it to the right side out and attach it to the body of the fabric. So you attach the sleeve to the armhole that you created. You match the midpoint of the sleeve, which I have notched, to the shoulder of the body, and then you sew all the way round. So I'm going ahead to pin the sleeve to the armhole of the main body of the fabric. I'll pin that all the way round. Then I'm going to attach it by sewing with a 1/2-inch sewing allowance. When you're done sewing that all the way round, go ahead to hem the body of that's the bottom of the kimono jacket, and that's it. You are done making your kimono jacket. Thank you guys so much for watching this tutorial. I'll see you guys in my next one. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Bye.